Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for December 19, 2023, the FTC scores big win edition. And we begin with that story from the New York Times, the first of 2 stories from the New York Times today. And after noting it's been a tough year for the FTC, the agency will end 2023 with a big win. The biotech company Illumina said on Sunday it would divest Grail, the cancer test maker it acquired for $7.1 billion in 2021, after an appeals court sided with the FTC's argument that the deal could harm competition. The news closes the book on the ill-fated acquisition that earned Illumina no end of trouble and showed that an assertive enforcement strategy of regulators like Lina Khan at the FTC could produce results. Our next story comes to us from the Financial Times, who reports that Nikola founder Trevor Milton was sentenced to 4 years for fraud. Trevor Milton, the founder of the electric and hydrogen-powered truck maker Nikola, was sentenced for lying to investors about the readiness of his startup technology in order to boost its share price. He had literally the chutzpah to do fraudulent visual advertising, then got caught doing it, as well as a host of other nefarious and indeed fraudulent activities. He's really one of the poster boys, although he's no longer certainly no boy to fraud in startups. Next up, U.S. House Democrats have pressed Clarence Thomas to recuse himself from Trump cases. Why? Well, because his wife was a pro-insurrectionist. Of course, Thomas has even more trouble in other conflicts of interest, if not extortion information that came out today about getting monies from billionaires. But this case is really interesting because clearly Thomas's wife is pro-insurrectionist and anti-democracy, so it's going to be interesting to see what Thomas might do, although given his track record, I'm sure he'll just thumb his nose as everyone. And our final story is the last one, or second one, from the New York Times, which talks about questions raised by the state of California, which dropped its harassment suit against Activision after a $54 million settlement. Frankly, those questions seem to me to be answered by the amount of the settlement, but some have questioned why the state of California would drop a suit. Well, here's the answer. Money, 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 money. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.